Okay, so today we are looking at solving inequalities using our multiplication and division properties. So there are just a couple of different rules with the multiplication and division. So if we have that C is a positive number, and if we have A is greater than B, then we're going to have AC is greater than BC. So when we multiply C to both sides, it stays the same. And if we have A is less than B, it's the same thing. We're going to have then AC is less than BC. But if we have that C is a negative number, we are going to flip that sign. So if we have A is greater than B, then if we multiply A times C, we are going to reverse that inequality sign. And we're going to have AC is less than BC. And likewise, if we have A is less than B, then AC is going to be greater than BC. So a couple of examples, if we're multiplying by a positive number, if we have negative 2 is less than 3, and we multiply both sides by negative 2, so we have negative 2 times 2 is less than 3 times 2, which gives us negative 4 is less than 6, which we know is correct. Or we can multiply it by negative. We can do 3 is greater than 1, and if we multiply both of these by negative 2, that leaves us with 3 times negative 2 is less than 1 times negative 2, which gives us that negative 6 is less than negative 2, which is true. Okay? It goes the same way with our division property. If we have C is a positive number, okay, and we have A is greater than B, then A divided by C is going to be greater than B divided by C. And if we have A is less than B, then A divided by C is going to be less than B divided by C. But if we have C is a negative number, then if we have A is greater than B, then A divided by C is going to be less than B divided by C. And if we have A is less than B, then A divided by C is going to be greater than B divided by C. So it goes along with these same rules up here. I don't think you need to see an example of them. The biggest thing to worry about is whenever you're solving an inequality and you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, you need to flip the sign. So you need to flip the inequality symbol. Okay, so we're going to go through a couple of different examples. So for this first one, we just need to multiply both sides. So if we have x divided by 3 is less than negative 2, all we're going to do is we're going to multiply both sides by this 3 to get x by itself, which leaves us with x is less than negative 6. Okay, and down here, we're going to use this graph, this number line, and we're going to have negative 6 right in the middle. It's going to be an open circle because it's a less than symbol, and we're going to shade to the left. And if we put this into function notation, we're going to have open parentheses, negative infinity, comma, negative 6, and since this is an open circle, we're going to have a closed parenthesis. Okay, so for this next one, we need to get rid of this 8 on this side. So we have C over 8 is greater than 1 over 4. So we're just going to multiply this 8 to both sides. When we do that, that gives us C is greater than 8 over 4, which just means C is greater than 2. So when we go down here, we're going to have 2. It's a greater than symbol, so it's going to be an open circle, and we're going to shade to the right. And if we put this in function notation, we're going to have an open parenthesis since this is an open circle, 2, comma, positive infinity, close parentheses. Okay? So if we're going to multiply by a negative number, what this means for this one, to get rid of this negative 3 over 4 x, I'm going to put that x on top, is greater than or equal to 3. What we're going to do is we're going to multiply by this 4 first. So multiply by 4 on both sides. And that's going to leave us with negative 3x is greater than or equal to 12. Now from here, what we're going to do is we are going to divide by negative 3. When we divide by this negative 3, we automatically have to flip the sign. So I'm going to do that before I write anything else. And we're left with x is less than or equal to negative 4. Okay, so we are going to have negative 4 on this number line. It's less than or equal to, so we're going to have a closed circle. And we are going to shade to the left. Okay, and the way that we can check this to make sure that we're right is we can put any number less than negative 4 into this inequality to make sure we're right. So when it says check the solutions, we can go ahead and put negative 4 because this is a less than or equal to. So if we put negative 4 in, that's going to give us, if we put it into our original, we're going to have negative 3 over 4 times negative 4 is greater than or equal to 3. So if we do negative 3 times negative 4, that's going to give us a positive 12 over 4 is greater than or equal to 3, and that gives us 3 is greater than or equal to 3, so it works. And when we put that in function notation, it's going to be open parentheses, negative infinity, comma, negative 4, and close bracket. Okay. Our next one, we have negative n over 3 is less than negative 1. So I'm actually going to put this negative on the 3 down here. So we're going to multiply both sides by that negative 3. When we do that, we are automatically flipping this sign. So that leaves us with n is greater than positive 3. So we have positive 3. It's going to be an open circle, and we are going to shade to the right. And in function notation, that gives us 3, comma, positive infinity, close parentheses. Okay, on our next page, we have a little bit of a different problem. So on the, you walk dogs in your neighborhood after school, and you earn $4.50 per dog. So we want to know how many dogs we need to walk to earn at least $75. So in our last section, we had that whole chart that gave us all of our keywords to note. So we are going to have $4.50 per dog. So I'm just going to write X because we don't know how many dogs we have to walk. And when we say at least, that means it needs to be greater than or equal to that 75. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to divide both sides by 4.5. That should give us X is greater than or equal to 16.6 repeating. Obviously, we can't have 16.6 dogs. So you need to walk at least 17 dogs. Okay. And our next one, a student club plans to buy food for a soup kitchen. A case of vegetables costs $10.68. The club can spend at most $50. So we want to know how many cases the club can buy. So we're going to have 10.68 times however many cases we can buy. We don't know that, so that's going to be our X. When we say at most, that means it's going to be less than or equal to that $50. So we're going to divide both sides by that 10.68. Okay, and that gives us X is less than or equal to 4.68. Obviously, we can't buy 6.8 or 0.68 of a case. So the club can buy at most 4 cases of vegetables. Okay. And then our last page for this section, we're just dividing by that negative number. So if we have negative 9y is less than or equal to 63, we're going to divide both sides by that negative 9. When we do that, we have to automatically flip that sign. So that's going to leave us with y is greater than or equal to negative 7. So we're going to have that negative 7 down here. Since it's greater than or equal to, we're going to have a closed circle. And we are shading to the right. And that is going to give us in function notation, open bracket, negative 7, comma, infinity, close parentheses. And our very last one, we have negative 5x is greater than negative 10. We're going to divide both sides by that negative 5. That's going to leave us with x is less than, because we automatically have to flip that sign, and negative 10 divided by negative 5 is 2. So we're going to have 2 in here. It's less than, so it's an open circle, and we are shading to the left. And function notation, we have open parentheses, negative infinity, comma 2, close parentheses. And that should be it.